Hi, I'm Samantha of Goddess Awakening. I'm here to hold a safe space and share with you the true and authentic stories of how we got here. Empowering women, elevating for all. All right, welcome to another episode of Goddess Awakening. It is December something. I don't even know what the date is today. It's almost Christmas. That's what I know. Today I have a guest coming from the internet again. We have Amanda. How are you, Amanda?
Hi, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. So where are you currently?
I'm in New Jersey.
New Jersey. Okay. I don't know why I was like, where is Amanda this morning? I was like not realizing where you were for some reason.
Yes, another internet friend from across the globe.
Yeah, so have we met in real life?
No.
No. Okay. It feels like we have. So I always get confused with people I haven't met.
I feel like I haven't met any of my internet family, which is wild because everybody feels like they're my people. I feel like I've known them forever.
Yeah. I met Christina Marie for the first time at the retreat in August or whatever month that was. And that was the first time her and I had met in real life too. And Laura was the same thing. I had known her in the internet for like 6 months or something. And we met for the first time at the retreat in Utah. So it's funny how it's like, I feel like I know everyone so well and we've hung out together, but turns out we've only hung out via Zoom.
Yeah, don't discredit the Zoom family. They're important too. One day we'll all get to meet up and it'll just be like a whole next level thing.
Yes. So lots to dive into today. So, but I wanted to start. So you and I have been Facebook friends for a while now. But I feel like the first time that we've really like one-on-one connected, was this last, online experience that I've talked about on here, Evo Revo. And you got to be the coach's coach. So tell us about how that was.
That was so much fun. So do we know, I'm sure you've talked about Evo Revo. We know what it is.
I've talked a little bit about it, but you can definitely talk more.
So it found me, I was like a buy one, get one free ticket. It found me 4 years ago. My therapist had just been like, so I can't really help you. And I was like, okay, what does that mean? And then like literally 3 days later, it was like, who wants to attend this free coaching event with me? I was like, I don't even know what coaching is, but sign me up. And then my life changed forever. I feel like magic happened those 5 days of that event. And I discovered who I was. And I met some incredible people that I'm still like, I speak to every day, that I love so much, that I work with constantly. It felt like that event for me felt like I came back home to myself, and it changed the trajectory of my entire life. Like, I don't mean to sound dramatic, but it did. So that first event I participated. The second round after that, I coached. I signed up to be a coach. I'm like, this is amazing. Everybody needs to know about this. I need to like share more of this everywhere. And then, yeah, this round I coached the coaches. Here we are 4 years later. And I'm like, it was such an incredible experience. And it felt very like full circle for me to be doing that. And oh my gosh, this round was so incredible. Every round is incredible, but it was so, so good.
Yeah, I got to coach for the first time this round, and it was a great experience. I will do it again. And there was lots of learning curves and lots of personalities and lots of triggers were coming up for myself and for a lot of people. And with Brian being on my team too, and his triggers, happening while we're in the house together. And I'm also the coach of the group. That was pretty interesting. So one of the things that you helped me with was just being inside of our messaging group container when I was busy or when there was, other things happening that I couldn't come to the group. It was kind of like you were the other monitor, helper, coach person that kind of helped everyone inside. There was just a lot of stuff happening in my group chat from what I understand.
Yeah, these events are wild. I remember the one that I coached, I literally ate a tub of cookie dough and I barely slept and I had calls back to back to back all day long. I was running on adrenaline and I think I had a team of 20, yeah, it was about 23 women. And my first time, I didn't even know what I was doing, right? When you first get into this, you don't really know. The event itself is very it flips your world upside down in the best way possible. And it also feels a little you're taking a fire hose to the mouth with information and nuances and discoveries about yourself and triggers and other people's energies. And it's just it's a lot. So yeah, it was really cool to be able to sort of be everybody's cheerleader, just tapping in with everybody. I dubbed myself the self-love embodiment coach. And so really just checking in, how are you today? Not your team, not who you just coached, but how are you today? How are you going through this event? Because even as coaches, we still have transformations throughout this event as well. So it's everybody's learning and growing and evolving and shedding layers of themselves. So I loved to just kind of be in the background, sprinkling self-love fairy dust all over everybody. Are you good? Are you good? Do you need me? How can I help?
Yeah, because I know I definitely needed that. I think I had 12 people total, something like that. And it was a lot. Like you said, it's back-to-back calls. And I was still working my job in the morning. So it's basically get off work, scarf down some food, and calls for the next 5 or 6 hours. So pretty wild weekend, or week, I should say. And I feel it was we went straight from that to Thanksgiving to holidays, and it's been for me nonstop. So I'm planning my music festival, of course, and trying to get everything ready for the next year. And I basically have told the last 10 people I've talked to, hey, I want you on the team. I want you to perform whatever it is. And my mental capacity is at a 0 right now for anyone besides what I have with work until literally after Christmas Day. So it's been nonstop since the end of, I almost said the retreat, but it's basically an online experience is kind of what we call it. It's hard to explain.
I think at the time she was calling it an intensive, a 5-day intensive, and it is intense. So that is fitting. Yeah. And I think the mental capacity, I feel a lot of us collectively are feeling that right now, because I'm in that space too of I don't have a lot of room for a lot of things right now. I'm just sort of barely keeping it together, and life is feeling very lifey, and I'm using my tools on a daily basis to maintain this balance, quote unquote.
Yeah.
So I resonate with that.
So what have you been up to since Evo Revo ended?
So I am in the home stretch of a 3-month group coaching container called Embodied Wisdom. We actually have our second to last call tonight. And that has been one of the most incredible. I love one-on-one coaching and I love group coaching. And this was something that I got the idea while I was meditating one day. And it was okay, you're wrapping up this year. What do you do with all this wisdom? This was probably one of the most challenging years of my entire life, as far as my growth and healing and my relationship and with my partner and just all of it. It felt very heavy, it was a lot. There's a lot of wisdom in there, right? It was all happening for me. And so it was what do I do with all of this wisdom? I don't want to take any of this heaviness, any of this muck with me into 2024. So like, what do I need to do to integrate all of this wisdom? And then I just had this zing like, oh, this really gets to be a group coaching program. So me and 5 women, I kept it super small and intimate. We get together once a month for a breathwork and embodiment practice where we get to bring up what gets to stay behind in 2023. And it's been so great. I'm going to do it every year. The last 3 months of the year into January, it's like, I think it's going to be one of my signature programs because I'm having so much fun. And then in between our calls, they get one-on-one calls. And then in between that, I have inbox support, which is one of my favorite ways to coach. So all week long, we're all just pinging back and forth of like ahas and breakthroughs and revelations and just celebrating wins and feeling into where we're still stuck. And it's just beautiful. I love it.
That sounds awesome. I will say one thing I definitely miss about like prepping for our Evo Revo thing is having like our weekly check-ins with each other and just like having some people to like listen and hear what is going on. And it's also wild to think like how much really happens in 1 week span. Even sometimes it was like twice a week we would have meetings and it's like, whoa, last week this, but then this week it's something completely different. So just having people to like listen and hold space and show up and support you in that way. So that sounds really good.
Yeah, it's everything. It is everything. I'm also a part of a community called Perfectly Balanced, which I think you're in there too. And it's the same. Whenever you get the opportunity, like one of the biggest lessons that I've learned in 2023 is the potency and the power behind having community, support, accountability, just gaining that momentum, tapping into other people's energy and wisdom and insights and reflection, just all of it. There's so much power in community. And you're right, a lot can happen in a week. And so it feels like when I don't tap into these resources, when I'm not present in the community, it's like somebody asks me how I am. I'm like, oh my God, it's been 4 lifetimes since I've seen you last. Like, but it's everything to just check in, to be seen, to be heard, to connect. Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, it's funny, actually, you brought up Perfectly Balanced. We talked about it with Laura when she was on here. And what happened was I signed up and I was working the morning shift. So there was like almost no classes in the evenings. Well, last week they were like, hey, we really need help in the evening. So I've been working like 9:30 to 6 to 7-ish p.m. So now I'm thinking, maybe it's time for me to go back and revisit those classes since I do have my mornings open now. Because routine for me is like how I survive. I mean, I use my planner, I use my phone calendar, and I have like a written giant calendar that I use for me and Brian at home. Like I have to have, and I have a whiteboard. Oh my gosh, I'm kind of a psychopath when it comes to planning. And I just have to. That's like how I function. But one thing that I've been leaving out is like my connection time with other people. Because it's like I pretty much go to work and then I come home and like do the dishes or cook dinner and then go to bed. And on the weekends, sometimes I'm like, I don't really want to go do anything. I just kind of want to stay home. And I know that time to connect with people and to just like meditate and take that time intentionally for myself is like really important. And I've been leaving that off.
Yeah, I feel like we have such a variety of event calls in that community. So it's like every month I sort of scan the calendar of events. I put the Google Calendar, same. I live and die by Google Calendar and my notes, my little sticky notes that I have everywhere. And I mean, we meditate every morning as a community. We have connection calls. There's workshops. There's courses. Yesterday, we just did our moon calendar. So we all got together, we grabbed our calendars and we pulled cards for the month of January, and it's like just little things like that, just to take an hour out of my day to pour into me, to be into community. And again, it's over Zoom. So that's why I like it, because you're like, I just want to go home and I just want to like chill out. I don't want to go anywhere and I want to be in my PJs. I'm like, yes, and I want to connect. So you get to do both, which I love.
Yeah, that's perfect. So what all do you offer in that space?
So in that space, I am the breathwork facilitator and the somatic healer. So I also have a couple other calls. But those are my two main calls that I do once a month for the community. My breathwork sessions are, I love breathwork. It's everything for me. I feel like your breath is your medicine. So I really, really love those calls. I've been doing them in the community for about 2 years now. And I have seen firsthand so many people just move through so many emotions on those calls. They're so powerful. So I do those once a month. And then I have another call that I lead. I call them self-love sessions, which during this round of Evo Revo, the people that have experienced them kindly brought it up to me that I need a more potent name for that, because the sessions you experienced a one-on-one version of them. They're everything. They're so great. They are somatic healing based, soma of the body. So it's both the breath work and the somatic healing sessions are like getting you out of your mind, out of your thoughts, out of your patterns, out of your loops, into your body, because there's so much wisdom in your body. And that's where you can tap into the pockets of fear, of shame, of judgment, of whatever is stuck inside of there that gets to be released, so that you can leave those sessions feeling more tapped into your true essence. So those are the two calls that I lead. And then I lead a call called Baby Steps to Lasting Change every 2 weeks. And that was a call that I got COVID this time last year. And I thought it hit me hard. It hit me real hard. I hadn't had it prior to that. It hit me really hard. And I remember telling Jennifer, the owner and leader in the community, I'm not going to come back from this. Like, I'm not going to be the same. My brain fog was so intense. My headaches were so intense. I felt like, when you go to clean a junk drawer, you got to like dump it before you can touch anything in it. That's what I felt like. I felt like a junk drawer that was just dumped on the floor. And I'm like, I don't know how to come back from this. And she's like, baby steps, which is part of my human design. I don't know if you're familiar with human design, but it's a big part of my human design. So we started this call last January where I came on still COVID fog. And I was like, we're going to step into this new year, one little single micro step at a time to get closer to where we want to be. And that call has been such a big hit. So we've done it and we're going to continue to do it. So I do a lot of little things in there, but breathwork and somatic healing are my main jam.
Okay, so we got to go back to the somatic healing because like you said, I did get to experience that self-love class with you one-on-one. And that was actually like the very tail end of the coaching experience with Evo Revo for me. I'll share some of what I experienced, and I'll say I have a really difficult time when it comes to like meditating, getting out of my head, basically is what it boils down to, and just like surrendering to the experience. I have a really difficult time with that, especially when there's like so many other things going around. Like I'm at my house, I'm at my desk, there's, anyway, I have a really hard time with that. And I just remember at one point, there was a few things. Like I remember my eyes were closed because that was helping me to stay focused with what you were saying and just kind of going inward for myself. But I remember, and I said it to you, I was like, I feel like I'm spinning. And it felt like I was literally like rocking and spinning in a circle and I couldn't stop. And I had to at one point like open my eyes just so I could kind of like, okay, look in front of me and I'm okay and I'm not spinning. I even got kind of nauseous, and it was like while we were diving into, I can't remember your exact prompt, but it was basically like, what are things? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we were feeling into the sensations in your body. I felt that nausea too. Yeah, that's what, so basically what we do on these calls is we tap into a meditative state. We get out of our heads into our bodies. And it's not that the thoughts can't be there, but we just don't attach to them. And we tune into the sensations in the body. And that's where the wisdom is, right? The really loud sensations. And when it was incredible to watch you. Like you literally were at some points spinning in circles while I was, witnessing you.
Yeah, it was very weird. And I was like, okay, I think I'm allowing this experience to happen at that point. And then you prompted me for something, and I brought up like my time in California with my ex and like some of the emotions and feelings around that time and space. And then it's funny because when you first had prompted me, it was the second thing that I said that actually came up first. But I was like, I don't know why this is a thing that's coming up. So I actually, when you said, oh, I think it's something further back, I was like, oh, okay. She knows, like, yes, it's the first thing that I thought of, but I actually said it second. And it was, I remember as a child, and I don't even know how old I was, probably like 5 or 6. But I remember getting like really like sick and nauseous in our home that I grew up in. And I would like go to my parents' bedroom and like cry and ask them for help. And I basically was like shooed away. And my mom was like, you're fine, go to bed. And I remember I have like vivid memories of like going into my bathroom and laying on the cold tile and just like crying and being upset and like basically trying to soothe myself. And that's when we kind of dug into that a little more. And what you said, it was like the trauma and the turmoil and the toxicity that was happening inside my home, I was literally taking it on. And I was like, holy shit, like I've never thought of that way. And I have these vivid memories of me being nauseous and sick in the bathroom. And like you were talking about human design, well, I'm a reflector. So, I mean, it makes perfect sense. But I had literally never thought of it in that way. So that was really, really wild and eye-opening, and just was like, whoa, okay, this is like, we've got somewhere, you know what I mean?
Yeah, reflectors are completely open. So you just take on it's like being an empath on steroids, right? So you just take other people's feelings in, and it made a lot of sense why you would have experienced that. And that's what we do during these somatic sessions. So we tap into our bodies, we get into our calm state, right? Where we can listen. We're just here to listen. And that's basically what happened. We found a pocket of trauma that was in there. And when you tune into it and just bear witness to it, right? We weren't trying to change anything, heal anything, fix anything. It naturally just does it on its own when you can just be present with what's alive inside of you, even back when you were 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. And being with that little girl version of you who's laying on the bathroom floor on the tile and just sending her love and asking her what she needed. And there's just so much power to somatic work, inner child work, like all of this stuff. I mean, it doesn't matter what modality you use, but just being present with what's alive inside of us it's everything.
Yeah, that was probably, that I can like vividly remember, that's probably like the second time where I've been in some kind of like meditation experience where I like went back and was like holding my younger self. So that was, it was really intense and really special. And It's really cool. One of the things too that came up during that time is like I took my sister with me and we went and you said, where's your safe space? Where are you guys gonna go? And it was my grandma's house in Florida and we were by the pool and that always was like a really happy memory. And then I can leave them there and know that they're safe and good. And so yeah, that was really cool. And then I actually talked to my sister Shannon about it. And just like her and I have slowly rebuilt our relationship, probably just honestly over the last like 5 or 6 years. So we're still not in a perfect place, but we can always text each other and check in. And I'm very thankful for that. So also thank you for that experience because I didn't know what the heck we were getting into. And I'm thankful that I just surrendered and let everything be that was supposed to come up. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, you showed up beautifully and it melted my heart when you were like, can I bring her with us? I'm like, yes, of course, grab her. Yes. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Yeah. You're like, I didn't know what to expect. Hence why I need to like shift the name to self-love session. It is a way of loving yourself when you can tap into this wisdom and it needs a different name.
Okay, so those are all the things that you do inside Perfectly Balanced. And then you have your own business and do lots of things outside of that space as well, right?
Yeah. So you're a reflector in human design. I'm a Mani-Gen, which means I do a lot of things. I've got myself spread thin with all of my favorite things that light me up. So I'm a facilitator inside of Perfectly Balanced. I got invited back to be the coach's coach again. So there's another project. I'm so excited. When is the next one? May. And then my own coaching business, I run group coaching programs twice a year and I do one-on-one coaching and I also do inbox coaching. So I have a lot of different coaching offers because I really feel like I wanted to be available. I wanted to be an available resource for anyone. Like I have a lot of clients who don't have time to get on a Zoom call for an hour. They've got kids. They can't make it happen. And I'm like, okay, well, that needs to be like, we need to fix that. There needs to be a solution. And I got to experience inbox coaching with one of my programs that I participated in. And it was like, oh, this is everything. Literally to have somebody in your back pocket when shit hits the fan or when you're feeling like you're in the weeds or you're having a week or a day or whatever, just to have the tools, the resource, the soundboarding to just vent and hear back something was everything. So I have a lot, I would say a good 70% of my clients are inbox clients, which I love because it's easy for me too. Right. I have a 7-year-old. I'm all over the place on all of these calls. I've got lots of clients and it's like, I love that I can just, I hear my phone and I can be there for them, like right on the spot. So I love that. And then I also have, and I'll send you the link for this so you can put it in the show notes, but I have a private community that for my newsletter subscribers, I call them my love notes once a week. And it's basically, it's like my podcast in email form where I'm sharing what I'm currently navigating, what I'm currently experiencing, how I'm moving through it, what tools am I using, what the current state of the energy is, and just I'm sharing me. And so any of my subscribers also get access to the Self-Love Circle, which is my private community. And right now we're doing a 5-day self-love experience. So I have tons of stuff going on. Some of it's free, some of it's paid. And I love all of it.
And you said too, you also have a podcast.
Yes. Yeah, I do have a podcast, Dear Diary, the Self-Love Podcast. That is something that I started, I believe a little over a year ago now. And my intention was just, I want to share me. I want to soundboard my experiences. It's a lot of solo riffs. There are some guest episodes, but mainly it's a lot of solo riffs of like what I'm navigating, how I'm moving through it, what tools I'm using. I talk a lot about somatic healing, a lot about breath work and embodiment. I love the podcast. I feel like it's a form of integration in my healing journey. I feel like it's a way for me. I almost feel like it's like a time capsule too, of like everything that I am, everything I'm experiencing, everything I'm going through. I'm just like, here it is.
Yeah, that's actually why I was like, when did I start this podcast? I want to say it was like May, June. I don't even know. But either way, that was the original reason I was like, okay, I want to start a podcast and I want to like tell the story of, you know, why I started planning Goddess Awakening, like why that came to be. And then I have tons to tell during the time of planning the music festival. I was also like moving across the country. My marriage was falling apart. I was traveling. I actually finally calculated the other day like how many miles I drove, and like 99% of these were solo, and it was like 32,000 miles I drove in 2022, like in my car, in my 2012 Toyota Camry. So I was like, okay, I want to tell that story, and then I want to start bringing people who have like helped with the festival, and then it kind of evolved. Like I would just want to talk to people that are in my life and that are also like doing things in the healing world, because Goddess Awakening for me is about the music and the healing world and bringing those two like main things together. And then, yeah, the first 3 episodes, I was like, well, I don't really need to have a guest, but that's kind of scary to think about, just like talking to myself about myself. But that's what I did. And that was my challenge to myself. Like, hey, I'm going to start a podcast. I'm going to tell my story, and then I'm going to bring, you know, people into it as I go. But yeah, talking about your life and your story, it was like, whoa, it was crazy being like, you would talk about something and then remember another detail that you had totally forgotten about. So yeah, like you said, time capsule for sure. And like a very, I think, healing experience too, to just kind of like say it out loud, because a lot of people still didn't even know that like I was going through a divorce and why I was going through a divorce. Like some of my closest friends and family, until they listened to the podcast, didn't have like any idea about like the stuff that I had experienced with my ex. So yeah, starting a podcast and just telling about you, it's quite the experience, and I'm glad that I will have this going forward for myself and for anyone else who wants to catch up with, you know, how we got here.
Yeah, it is. It's really powerful too. There will be times I have episodes where I'm like, come journal with me, and I'll play music, and I'll be on the, I'll come out of a meditation and I'm like, oh my God, I just had this huge aha. I need to share this. Like, hold on, let me press play. Let's do this. So yeah, I actually was listening to another podcast a few weeks ago, and she was like, I highly recommend going back and listening to all of your podcast episodes, because there's so much power in listening to your voice speak and things that you've forgotten that you've said. And 10 out of 10 recommend. Yeah.
Yeah, I've listened to some of my episodes, but definitely not all of them. It was really hard for me at first to listen at all. And Santiago will be like, you know, you can listen to it and we can edit or do whatever. And I was like, nope, just send it. Just put it out to the world and we'll hope for the best. But I have listened to a few back finally, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is actually like interesting, and I sound intelligent. But it was really weird just listening to yourself. It's interesting.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And it's really vulnerable too, to share, you know, to do anything on social media, to share your story, to have a podcast, to, you know, even with your festival, right? Like there's a lot involved in being an entrepreneur, whatever kind you are, just sharing your gifts, sharing your artistry. It's a vulnerable thing, and it's beautiful. And there's so much room for growth and discovery in that too.
Yeah, I was, Brian and I were working on festival stuff yesterday. And we were like, we're just going to dedicate this time specifically for working on festival stuff, because he's helping me with a lot of the festival this year too. And it gets a little, we talk about it a lot, but it's like we have to decide like when is work time and like when is not work time. And social media for me, it's like, it's funny because I've become very good at social media. And I'm like an influencer. It still sounds weird to say that, but I get paid a few dollars a month from Facebook right now, which is cool. But when it comes to like my business side of running it for the Goddess Awakening page, it's harder for me because on my main page, it's like I will just post stuff that I want to post. I don't ever really have an intention. I'm like, oh, I need to post this because this will get a lot of traction. And then it does get a lot of traction. And it's probably been over the last like almost year now, I would say, that I've started to notice that like people are watching and paying attention to me. And it's very vulnerable, like you said, and scary because it's like, I know at my core, I have all the best intentions with everything that I'm doing and specifically around the music festival and like why I'm doing it. And this year I'm like feeling that we get to really hone in on like the intentional parts, like the harm reduction space, the women's tent. We're going to have a whole space just for nonprofits. We're going to have a kids zone. And it's like, I want this to be a family friendly, everyone is welcome, safe space. And that still costs a lot of money. So at the end of the day, it's a business where, yes, I'm doing it for all the right intentions. And I need people to buy tickets. I need people to sign up to be a vendor or to sponsor me or whatever that looks like. So it's like a juggle between passion and business and money comes involved. So it's funny how all these things, they get to work together because the goal, obviously, for most of us is to get to do what we love and get paid for it and pay our bills and get to live the life that we want. But I think especially like in the spiritual community, it gets a little sticky because we want to offer everything, but we have to be able to receive in return. So I'm curious to see or hear from you if you've had similar experiences with like money or, asking for money for your services.
Yeah, absolutely. All the way back when I signed up to do the coaching academy, I was like, oh shit, I don't know how I'm going to pay for this. And Jamie she said, go get clients. Just go get clients right now. And I was like, but I don't know what I'm doing. She's like, you'll coach them while you learn. And I'm like, who's going to want to do that? That sounds terrifying. Like, that sounds scary. Who would trust me? Like, what? Imposter syndrome, fear, like all of it. And I did. I signed my first client in the middle of coaching academy and I didn't even know what I was doing. And it was beautiful. And she signed up with me 3 times after that. And so as I'm growing, she's growing and she's healing and I'm growing and it was such a beautiful experience of like, oh wow, I actually can do that. That's really wild. So that was like my first experience of like, oh, I actually get to get paid and do this. And then while I was getting my coaching hours of practice, I was offering a lot of free calls. And I had been doing that for years. And I resonate with what you said. You just want to help. I just want to help, So I remember I did something really scary and I became a coach who wants to receive a free session with me. And people were signing up like crazy. And I was like, oh no, that's a lot of calls. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of energy. That's a lot of effort. Like, okay, what do we do now? And since then, here we are 4 years later. Now I don't have a problem with, this is why I have a lot of variety, a lot of price tiered offers, because I like to be accessible for anybody and everybody. I like to have free tools and resources like my newsletters and my podcast and, the free 5-day self-love experience that I'm running right now. And I also like to work with women, high ticket, high price, that are invested in their healing and want to work with me for 6 months plus. So for me, it's been about creating that variety for people because I want to be accessible to all, and I can't be free to all, or I can't make a living doing this. I can't continue to do this. And then there's also this little sidebar that I've noticed throughout time. The people that don't invest anything tend to not really show up as much, as fully as they could, especially in the coaching industry. I don't know what it would be like in the music industry, but for the coaching industry, it's like you show up, oh, well, that was just a free call. So I don't really it's okay if I miss it, or it's okay if I'm late, or it's okay if I'm just kind of like half putting my energy into it. But if you're paying high ticket prices to work with me for a year, you're going to show up, you know? And this past Evo Revo, I did a live during the container, and I said, I am done offering my services for free. I'm done with the free. Cause I'm like, I'm like, Oprah, you want a self-love session? You want a self-love session? Here, like sprinkling them around like crazy. And it started to feel yuck in my body when I would offer them. Like I would start to have this, resentment of like, oh, you're doing, not against the people, but against myself of like, you're doing it again. Why are you doing this? They get to pay for your services. There gets to be some sort of energy exchange. And proudly enough, I will say it's only been a couple of weeks, but I haven't given away any free anything other than the stuff that I don't mind giving away for free because it's what I do. So yeah, that's been my experience. And it's definitely a work in progress.
Yeah, it is. And with the festival, and I'm the same way. It's funny when I'm in like the retreat spaces and I'm talking about my music festival, I'll for the whole weekend with camping, and we're doing a full stage, like full production music. Like I'm going to have to repost the after movie from the first year of Goddess Awakening, because like I was watching it yesterday, and every single time I watch it, I get teary-eyed. I'm like, I did that. Like I got a team and we did that. It's really impressive stage production, especially for a first year festival. So it's like, you're getting full production. You're getting a whole weekend of music. I'm going to actually have a silent disco so people can stay up late and listen to more music. And then we're going to have a whole second stage that's literally just dedicated to workshops and like educational spaces. So the whole weekend you can do any workshops you want. And then, like I said, there's a whole bunch of other things that will be integrated as well. It's $111 for 3 days with camping. Everyone's like, that's so cheap. And I'm like, I know, it's crazy. Like it's $111 for all of that. And you get to camp there. And like food vendors, I'll probably have like 10 plus, like art, craft, like shopping vendors. So you can like shop and eat and bring your kids. But again, it's like, I could definitely charge more money, but I want it to be accessible to everyone. I even set up to where you can do a payment plan option if you want to do that. If you want to volunteer, you only have to work. I think I set it up as like 2 6-hour shifts, and then you can do the whole weekend for free. So I definitely resonate with like giving people the ability to like come and be in the experience. But yeah, I was wondering, have you ever been to a music festival?
No.
Oh, okay. I love that. So is there any particular reason you haven't, or has it just not really been on your like list of things?
Yeah, no, I guess it just hasn't been on my list. I'm like listening to you talk about it. And I know Laura, you had her on last week, and she's like goes to them all the time. And I'm like, how fun is that? I don't know why. I've never been a big like concert goer or a music festival attendee, and not for any reason other than, I mean, I guess I could say I don't really know of any local to me, but that's because I'm not looking for them. So that's really all that is.
I actually have one. Oh, I don't know if I should say this. It's fine. They'll find out. I haven't released my lineup yet. But I have one artist. Her DJ name is Pedals, Pedals. And she played at Goddess Awakening last year, and she's from New Jersey. That's why I'm saying this. Yeah, she's in New Jersey. And I invited her back again this year. She's amazing. She DJs and then she also plays the keyboard like while she's doing that. And she produces her own music. And she's like the sweetest, nicest person ever. But yeah, so I literally have people that came from New Jersey to perform. I had a DJ duo from Canada come. So I've got some more Canadian friends, might see if they'll come back. And then I had another female artist and she came from California. So we literally had people coming from like all corners of mostly the US, but then our one, Canadian duo that came. But it was pretty cool to have people come in from all over the place.
Yeah, that is so cool. And it's like a whole vibe too, it's a whole weekend. Like you said, you get the camping experience, the shopping experience, the connection, the energy, the food, the music. Like, I love that. Kudos to you.
Yeah. So it's next October if you want to come down to Arkansas.
Ooh, that's my birthday month. Is that where you are? I was going to ask where are you?
So I'm in Oklahoma, but I helped plan a music festival at that venue like the year before, and I loved it. And Arkansas has always been like a meetup spot because I've got lots of friends in Tennessee and Texas, and then me in Oklahoma. So we kind of just all migrate to Arkansas for a lot of things. So this is just another one of those things where we just migrate to the middle of the country and hang out for a few days.
I love this. Yeah, next October. That's my birthday month, so that's fitting.
When is your birthday?
October 17th.
Oh, okay. That, funny enough, is when I got married, but it's okay.
I love that.
Okay, let's see. Is there anything else that you want to talk about, just like yourself or something that, you've had on your mind for a little bit that you're wanting to talk out loud about? Just really anything.
Well, I will share this. You had mentioned in the beginning of the call, or the episode, that I don't remember your exact words, but you said you didn't have space for anything. Like it was just running thin, holiday, end of season, coming off of Vivo Revo, like doing the most, planning for this festival. And so I just wanted to share sort of my experience on that and ask you, what do you do when you get like that? Like, so for me, when I get really like life is being extra lifey and there's a lot on my plates and everything's spinning, I tend to really honor myself and get still and look at all of my priorities, look at where I'm saying yes, look at what I'm saying no, what I need to say no to, and just tuning into how can I be like my own life jacket in this moment? And like, how can I just honor the fuck out of myself and really move through whatever this mess is with so much grace and compassion and quote unquote ease. I make it as easy as I can. So I was wondering, what do you do when you are navigating these seasons? Do you have like a practice, a routine, a ritual?
I'm definitely needing to incorporate something. I know that. Because like I was saying at some point too, I just kind of haven't been doing anything besides like work and just like the regular stuff. I will say yesterday I was pretty proud of myself because like I had said, we cut out time to work on the festival stuff and we accomplished all the things on the whiteboard that we wrote out and then we like put it away. And then I took my planner for the week and I just went through just this week and I wrote out my schedule for the week for working and then anything extra I have, which it's funny because this month I really don't have, I was looking at my calendar, my phone, December versus November. November was stupid packed. Like what in the world? I was looking at it and I'm like, no, how? But this month it's a lot more light. Like I had a couple of podcast episodes. This week it's like we have a holiday party and I'm getting a massage. That's one thing I'm doing for myself. I'm getting an hour and a half long massage. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited about that on Thursday. But what I've noticed is I function much better when my plate is like so full, as long as it's like scheduled and like hourly planned out. But like this month, when I don't have that much going on, I'm just working a lot. And I feel like there just is this hustle and bustle with everyone, even though I don't really think I have much of it. So I think for me, if I would just, like I said, right now I work at 9:30. So I have the whole morning. And I went to the gym yesterday. I'm very proud of myself for that too, because it's been a while. So if I can just wake up, do maybe it's breath work, maybe it's meditation for like 15 minutes. That's another thing. It's like get in my head, I need to do an hour-long meditation, but that's not necessary. And then just start with that and then go to the gym for 30 minutes. Again, it doesn't have to be like this 5-hour workout. So yeah, I think I just need to get back into a morning routine. And I think it's also throwing me off because like I said, I was working evenings and afternoons, and now I'm working in the morning. No, opposite. Now I'm working in the evenings where I get off at 6, 7 p.m. So I think I need to adjust my routine.
I love that. Routine's so key. It's everything. And I love that you know that too. You're like, I need to have it all mapped out. Enjoy your massage, girl. You deserve it.
Oh, I can't wait. I don't think I've ever had an 1.5 hour long massage. I think I've only done like an hour.
They're so yummy.
I'm so excited. Well, thank you for coming on. And then where can we find you on the socials?
Yeah, thanks for having me. So I hang out on Facebook, Amanda Beatty. I hang out on Instagram. I love being in my stories, Amanda_Beatty_. And join my Love Notes, my weekly newsletter. That's my intimate little community. And I love it in there. I pour into my girls so hard, and you're in there. And I love it. So yeah, that's where you can find me. Thank you for having me today.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. And we will drop all of these links in our episode as well, so you guys can easily find Amanda and all the beautiful, magical things she's doing. I just feel like when I talk to you, I just feel like, I think you have like a very like feminine, nurturing presence. That's what I get from you whenever I talk to you.
Thank you. It's taken me a long time to get there.
Yeah, we don't have time for this episode, but we definitely got to talk more about polarity because that's always a hot topic.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, thank you so much and have a good rest of your week.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Goddess Awakening. Check out our linktree in the description for all our socials and upcoming events. This podcast is brought to you by the Possibilities Podcast platform.